The deaths of 10 French soldiers in Afghanistan last year ignited a fierce debate in Paris about the withdrawal of troops. Well, it's now emerged they may have been killed due to a failure of their NATO Italian allies to tell them about a key part of their military tactics. Before the French soldiers arrived in Sarobi, east of Kabul, it had been held up as a model of peacekeeping. Now there are claims the Italian Secret Service was bribing Taliban commanders and militia leaders in the area to keep the peace, tens of thousands of dollars changing hand. And when the French took over in July 2008, they thought they were serving in a relatively quiet spot. But a month later, a lightly armed patrol with insufficient air cover was ambushed by more than 100 heavily armed fighters. And later, 10 soldiers' bodies were found mutilated, their French uniforms and arms displayed by the Taliban on video. Well, following these claims, the Italian defence ministers said they are absolute rubbish. Crispian Cass is a former British military officer, now security analyst for the Olive Group, and he says payment for peace isn't unusual or surprising, but this particular incident reveals the growing cracks within the NATO coalition in Afghanistan.
Paying the people you fight, or not fight, but who are causing troubles, is a good old-fashioned colonial way of trying to keep the peace. And, you know, people, particularly European powers, have been doing it for centuries. The problem is when you're operating as a coalition and you don't tell your partners that's what you're doing, then there's a real opportunity for a serious breakdown to happen, as appears to have occurred in this case. And there are other instances which need to be taken into account. The French forces, for instance, who were attacked, weren't sufficiently prepared, and that's a tactical failure on their part. However, there's a bigger question which is asked by this, and that is the strength and resolve of the coalition, particularly the NATO operation. When you look in Europe at the moment, and for example, after that bomb attack which happened recently in Kabul, where several Italians were killed, you know, the Italian Berlusconi, he said, you know, it'd be best if Italian troops were withdrawn. You look at the German elections which have happened recently, and although they didn't win, the opposition were campaigning on a policy of withdrawal from Afghanistan.